All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello, 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 and welcome to tonight's webinar, How to Hire Your Children Correctly. We're going to stop giving them allowances today. Do me a huge favor, type in the chat where you're from, who invited you out tonight. We apologize for the late start. You won't get to see this lovely face because part of the issue is I updated my computer and now I can't get my camera to work. So it's going to be Yvette's lovely smile all night and just my picture. So again, go ahead and type in the chat where you're from. And if you have children that work in your business, or have you not already? In fact, let me throw up the poll for tonight. See, I'm just all thrown off tonight. So let's throw up the poll tonight. You just go ahead and type in the chat, though, where you are from. And if you will, go ahead and answer tonight's poll question. And we're going to be getting ready to get started here in a second. I know we're starting late, but I want to give another couple minutes for the latecomers to come on and join the room. It's super, super excited to have you guys learn from one of my mentors when it comes to taxes and business structure and all of that good stuff. So now you guys get to learn from somebody that I greatly respect and admire and get to learn from as well. So we'll leave the we will leave the poll up for a couple minutes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Looks like we have Angela AA, Alexander in the building. Sheila is also in the building. Looks like Debrissa is in the building as well. Sandra is on board. Nice, nice, nice. Mojo, the tech boss lady, is on deck. So we are super, super excited to have you guys all come and learn what we want to present to you tonight. If you have a business, Lloyd Coakley is in the building, and you are not employing your you are leaving up to $6,350 on the table per child. So Sandra is out of the ATL, Mojo is out of the B, but in Atlanta, which is cool.
BX in the building.
Skipper is in the building as well. Good deal, good deal, good deal. So give us one more minute, guys. Go ahead and answer the poll question if you have not already. We got some cool things that we want to give away for you guys attending. Yvette has got a killer presentation for you tonight to help you really understand at a fundamental level, not only that you should be paying your children to work in business, but how to do it properly, how to do it correctly, how to make sure you're in full compliance with the IRS and get everything that you need, get all those ducks in a row, because this is a tax deduction that a lot of home-based business owners are missing. Even brick and mortar businesses are missing it because they won't bring their child to the location and let them do a little work from time to time. But you could be leaving a lot of money on the table. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let Miss Yvette get prepared to do her thing. If you guys have any questions, I'll be manning the chat. I'm going to jump out and let Miss Yvette take the wheel. And again, somebody I really respect and admire. She is absolutely very knowledgeable, has all the information when it comes to accounting and proper business structure and how to set this stuff up and make sure that it is done right. Had the pleasure of knowing her for almost 2 years now. And it's just been a pleasure and a joy learning from her and just, you know, having her be a part of our team. And now I want to introduce her to you, and maybe you will get her to be a part of your team. So Miss Yvette, real quick, tell us who you are. Give us a little bit of the background. We don't have all night to go through all of your accolades, but give us a little bit of your background.
Hey, everybody. How are you? I am Yvette the Best, the People's Tax Accountant. Everyone knows that I love taxes. I love manipulating the IRS tax code to benefit us. Everyone knows that they should be operating as a business. And if you don't know, I'm telling you right now, you need to be operating as a business. Everyone knows that I also have the hashtag, which is the tax deductible lifestyle. And it's just basically everyone should be connecting their everyday activities to business activities. So basically what it is that you're living in your purpose. You're doing what you love. You're getting the money that you deserve. And is basically your whole lifestyle is tax deductible. If you do not know how to do that, of course, after the end of the night, we're going to find out how. But what you want to do is to make sure you want to be having a tax deductible lifestyle. You want to take bills and make them expenses. That is what the tax accountant says every day.
Got you. So obviously you own your own tax firm. Been doing that for a while, and solid business and understanding that, business coach, sought after speaker, and just everything woman empowerment. Talk about real quick before we get into your presentation, the Project 3000 mission to take 3,000 women from employees to bosses. What is that all about, and how's that going for you guys so far?
Yes. Project 3000, it is a project with me and my sister. If you do not know who my sister is, that is Monique Mojo Winley. Mojo's with a Z because people be sleeping. But me and my sister are both empowered to take 3,000 women and turn them from employees to bosses. Now, let me explain what that employee to bosses mean. It does not mean that you're going to immediately go out and quit your job and become a boss. You're going to basically take your time to make an exit strategy, use your job as your interest-free financing, and get into your purpose about what you really want to do. The job is supposed to be a resource, not the sole source of where you get money from. It's just a resource. So what you want to do is to tap into your talent, your abilities, and make everything that you want in your life to happen, because it's really about us. It's really about building future Black billionaires. Now, the reason why I say future Black billionaires, because I am already a millionaire. It may not be in my net worth, but it's in my mindset. So since I'm already a millionaire, of course, I'm going to want my children to be billionaires. There's only, you want to take and multiply. So since I am already a millionaire, I am raising future Black billionaires. And with that, you just want to continue to change your mindset, because you become wealthy way before that money hits your pocket. Once you take and change and go into a wealthy mindset, the rest will fall into place. And I'm a perfect example of that.
Gotcha. All right. So now let's give the people what they came here for. And I will let you take controls. Go ahead and get into your PowerPoint presentation and let them know not only why they should be hiring their children in business, but how to do it correctly so that they're in compliance with the IRS and start making or saving money that would otherwise be going to Uncle Sam. Okay.
Now, what I need to know is, can you see the first screen that says hiring your child the right way?
Yes, we are good to
go. With the beautiful future Black billionaire on there with his glasses, and he is an accountant. Yes, I just had to go find me an accountant kid to put on the PowerPoint. Okay, so let's get into it. Hiring your child the right way. The first thing you want to do, you want to always, with everything, there are rules. But first, before we start that, let's just say right now, it's 2017. Right now, you can be saving $6,350 by putting your child, which I use as the ages of 7 to 17, into your business. Now, you just can't take and start having your child working. There's rules that you have to follow, because with everything, documentation is key to make sure that you always have yourself IRS compliant, because you know I like to have you IRS compliant, to make sure that if there has any questions about the money that you are deducting on your return, as far as paying your child, you have all your ducks in a row. So these are the rules that you first going to have to follow. You're going to make sure, one, that the work is actually done. Now, you're going to do that by having timesheets or just a summary of what the child did that week or that day, and maybe even have on there how much you paid. Then the work has to be related to your business. Now, as a tax accountant, I have different things: filing, shredding, putting things away, handing out flyers. But you just don't want to say, okay, I have a business selling barbecue sauce, but I have my son on the corner washing cars. That's not going to work. You have to have the work related to your business. Then the child must be capable of doing the work. So again, you may not want to have a 7-year-old go back to the car wash. If you was a owner of a luxury high detailing car wash and you had just 7-year-old detailing cars, that may not fly. That might be a better job suited for someone 12, 13, 14, 15. But there's always something else they could do, like putting out trash, clearing off, cleaning out the refrigerator. These are things that 7-year-olds can do that is related to the business. And they are capable of doing that work. And then the amount paid for the work must be reasonable. So again, you only have $6,350 per year that you can give to your child that will be exempt to them, and they won't have to pay any payroll taxes. So usually I say the rule of thumb, you want to do like $125 a week, but you want to make sure that you're not giving them $125 a week, but they only working for an hour. You want to make sure that the time and the work that's being done and what you are paying are all reasonable. Then you must be careful and keep written records. So when I say written records, you're going to have a job description. You're going to have timesheets. I would even have the point where you fill out the timesheets and your child signs it and you sign it, and just keep it documented. We'll go a little further because we're going to talk about some of the tax compliance a little bit further in the presentation, and how you're going to be able to document even after you have kept careful records. So next, you're going to have necessary paperwork. In all things, when the IRS is giving you tax breaks, they're going to want documentation, and then they're going to always have you with paperwork. You're never going to be able to escape it. So you want to have a written employment agreement. That way, job description, and I would even give an offer letter letting them know what the job was going to be, when they're going to work. And then that way you have a written employment agreement that you sign as well as your child, even if the child is 7, because they already know how to do their signature. So you're going to go take and obtain a federal employment identification number. And that is just the tax ID, EIN, which you will already have. Now, the main thing you want to do is when you get this EIN, you want to make sure that you check the box that the tax liability you will have for the year is $1,000 or less. That's key, because then you will only have to file for tax compliance purposes, the W-2 at the end of the year. Instead of making quarterly payments, you will only have to pay one time at the end of the year. So please take note. When you get your EIN, always take and check the box that says you want to be an annual filer. Then you will also go to your state and get a state employee identification number. That's just in case if you have any state issues or you want to report this income that you're paying to your child to the state, you can do so as well. Then you want to complete what is called a I-9 form. That is just to comply with the fact that the child is a United States citizen or is eligible to work in the United States. That's to keep compliance with the immigration laws and to make sure, again, you have documentation intact. And then you will have each child that's in the business fill out a W-4, and they will check in the box number 7 that the wages that they're receiving are exempt from payroll taxes, that they're not going to be liable for any tax, because basically the standard deduction is $6,350. They're only going to be paid $6,350. So that makes it 0 for tax liability. So next, we're going to talk about tax compliance. Now, for the tax compliance, you always want to keep time cards on file with the hours worked. I'm going to do a case study after this to show you a sample of a timesheet and things that you must keep on file the same way if you had other employees in your business, unless you had a punch clock that they could punch in and out. Then you want to file quarterly federal withholding returns. Now, that is only if you did not elect to be an annual filer. So say you had your EIN for a long time and you can't remember if you had elected to be an annual filer, then you will just file quarterly federal withholding returns. And then you will also file a state withholding report. And that's just saying, hey, I paid my child this amount of money this quarter, and I'm just letting you know there is no payroll tax involved, but I'm making you aware that I have paid out money, wages, the same way you do with regular employees that you're paying payroll taxes for. Then at the end of the year, you will file forms called W-2 and W-3. Now, the W-2 is something that almost everyone is familiar with because it's what you give employees. So with the W-3 is what the bosses file. When your employer has you, they give you a W-2 to let you know your wages. If you had any things from like 401k, or if you had flex spending or dependent care costs, that's all listed on your W-2. But the W-3 is a form that they file reporting to the IRS what wages they actually paid you, and just to coincide with the fact that they're paying payroll taxes and they're staying in compliance with what the IRS has delineated to them for employees. Then, last but not least, you will have to file an annual unemployment return. Now, this is a return that is the tax you will pay on any wages that you pay to any employee that is subject to having unemployment. Now, your child, because their wages will be tax exempt, would not be taxed on a federal unemployment return, but you want to file it anyway to stay in IRS compliance. So this is the way that you're going to be able to, as a boss, pay your child $6,350 per year until, well, this for 2017 is going to be $6,400 next year. And then that way you can take and say, all right, I got all of this written off as wages. My child doesn't have a tax return because this was equal to their standard deduction. So it's zero liability for them. And now you have taken allowances and made it into a tax write-off. Now, I want to talk about some things that the kids can do once they have this money. So think about things like football fees, sporting equipment, playing flag football, taking karate classes. All of these things now become a tax deductible lifestyle because you're paying your child and your child is taking that money to pay for the things that they want to do. So with that being said, let's move to the case study. So the case study is about my son, Mr. Thomas Armstrong III, otherwise known as Trey. He's 8 years old. He'll be 9 in December. And for Best Services Unlimited, he is what we call the shredding specialist. He's in charge with emptying out the shredders in our office and we keep piles of paper maybe for the end of the day. And he shreds all of this documentation because we want to make sure that we're keeping everyone's ID in check. So this is his job. And for that job, he's paid $6,250 a year or $125 a week. So what I did was I made a job description. I just said, hey, he's a shredding specialist. He's responsible for receiving and segregating and loading waste paper into the shredder. He's a member of our team and that he adheres by the values, the practices, and our standards of Best Services Unlimited. And then I talk about what his responsibilities are. And it's a little bit more because I talk about what type of skills he should have. So he has to have communication skills, the ability to lift 10 pounds, things that he's able to do to show that he is capable of doing the job. So then I have a copy of the I-9. I fill out the I-9 with his information. I use his birth certificate and his social security card because, of course, he's 8 years old. So he does not have a photo ID except from school, but that's not acceptable. So I fill out the form using his social security card and his birth certificate. And I just keep the form on file with a copy of his birth certificate and social security card for documentation purposes. Then he starts working. And I have a template, which is, I have it in Excel, but I just put a picture of it here, which is a weekly employee timesheet. Name all the days of the work of the week, what time he started, what time he finished, when he got a break, and the total hours for the week. And of course, at the bottom is his place for him to sign and the place for me to sign. And then I take and keep that in the file, in his employee file as well. Next, you have the W-4 form. Now, again, I circle here in red because part number 7 is what you need to concentrate on, because again, because you're only paying them $6,350, that is going to be totally exempt from federal tax liability. So you're just going to check, you're going to fill in their name as it is in the top and check box number, take exempt. In box number 7, have your child sign it, you sign it, and put it into the file. Next, you have the Georgia W-4. So again, with the Georgia W-form or your state W-form, because I'm pretty sure there's other people on this line that's not from Georgia. Every state should have a W-4. If not, just Google your state W-4 form. And then you will do the same thing with Georgia. You go to line number 8 and state that the wages would be exempt from taxes. And then you'll fill out the line exempt and check the box. So next is the end of the year. You're going to give your child a W-2. Now, in this example, the W-2 has Social Security and Medicare wages, but that will not be the case in your form. You will only have wages in box number 1. There will be no federal withholding because, again, those wages are exempt from tax withholding as well as Social Security and Medicare taxes because, again, the amount is not over the standard deduction, which will require them to file a return. So next is the W-3. Now, this form is what you will complete and also transmit to the IRS. And it'll just have information about the wages that you paid and their information, and you transmit that form, which kicks out the W-2. And then last but not least, you have the 940 form. That is the federal unemployment tax return. That is also the form that you will fill out and send into the IRS. And again, that's just going to have the wages that was paid. And again, with this form, you do not start paying federal unemployment tax until you have wages that are over $7,000, which if you can, I know the picture is kind of small, but it is on line number 5 of that form. And then what happens, there's like a little formula that they calculate, and any wages that's over $7,000 is what they tax for federal unemployment. Now, I'll give you an example. In my business, I paid myself $35,000 last year. And for my 940, my tax part was only like $42. So I can guarantee you that if you are paying your child and you fill out the form 940, you're not going to have any tax liability. So in summary, I want to say that paying your child for services performed in your business can reduce your overall tax bill. But you're doing that by shifting assets from your child without having any gift tax implications. Because most people know you can give money as a gift, but when it goes as a gift, it can be taxed too, depending on the amount. So as a business owner, you can take a deduction for the wages paid to your child. Again, $6,350 for 2017. And again, because the standard deduction is also $6,350, it offsets the wages, which now makes that income tax-free to your child. Now, I wanted to give an example. So let's take the example that you took the full amount of the wages, $6,350, and it would be fully deductible as compensation, wages paid by the business. But there's also a tax savings to the business owner, which is $2,226. The way you get that is you take $6,350 and you times that by 35%. And that's if I'm using 35% because most business owners, I use the highest tax bracket, and the highest tax bracket for this scenario is 35%. Then the income tax to the child is 0 because, again, the wages are offset by the standard deduction, which are both equal to $6,350. I know y'all getting tired of hearing $6,350, but I just want to put that in perspective of how much money you're actually losing by not having your child in your business. So to wrap it up, let's talk about tonight's giveaways. So 1, just for coming to the webinar tonight, and I'd like to thank you for coming out. 1, I'm going to send you Hiring Your Child the Right Way checklist. I'm going to also send you a sample of a job description and a sample timesheet. And I'm trying to scan it into my PDF so you could be able to type into the timesheet form so you won't have to write it all up. You could be able to type into the form. I will also send a copy of preliminary 2018 W-4 as well as a preliminary 2018 Georgia W-4 form. Now, I know for sure that the IRS W-4 is available, but if Georgia is not, I will send a 2017 version, and you can use that for this year and then just update it next year to be ready. Cortez, are you ready to talk about the training, or do you want me to do that?
Well, I am ready to talk about something.
Yeah, because I've been talking for a long time.
That was an amazing job. Very, very detailed in what it is that you explain. And I love that because I've got to break all of that stuff down and really get it implemented, because I have 3 enterprises that my children work in. So how would that work if you have multiple businesses? Do you just file a set of paperwork for each business entity?
Yes. But what I would try to do, because the amount of money is not that big, I would just try to top load it into one business. So if most of the stuff you do, like you're coaching a lot, I would put that $6,350 into the coaching part. Gotcha. Because the money is not really a lot to split over different businesses. Pretty much you can, like I said, $6,350 per week is probably roughly about $122 a week, give or take. So you could put all of that into one bucket. $122 is not a lot.
You just pay them for one business instead of trying to put them to work in all of the businesses. Gotcha. Mojo says she has a question. If you guys have questions, go ahead, type questions in, and let's do about 5 minutes of Q&A. Does everybody understand what's going on? Dorm supplies, dorm snacks, spending money. OMG, them girls have a bunch of expenses. Yes. For me, my sons play ball. Not only do they play ball, they want to be good, so they train. Not only do they train, they go to a shooting coach. They go to, it gets crazy. So yes, that is a good write-off. Freya says, did you say something about a W-3 form and the IRS will provide us a W-2 form? Okay, so if you can go back, Yvette, through the W-3 and the W-2, sounds like there are some missing pieces there for Freya. Okay. So the W-3 and the W-4 are both filed by the business owner. Now, the W-3 is compliance. Basically, you file the W-3 and report that to the IRS. Then the W-2 is what you give to the employee, but you also send that to the IRS as well. So what happens is when you file the W-3, because most people don't do the W-3 and W-4 themselves. They mostly get a service to do it. So you would basically get a service. You type in the wages that you pay to the employee. You
make sure to delineate that you did not have any Social Security or Medicare taken out of it because of the fact that the amount is not over the standard deduction, and you already know that the child is a minor. So they don't have to pay Social Security or Medicare. Gotcha. So once you put all of this into the system, the W-3 is a transmittal of the form. So basically it takes the information from the W-2 and puts it on the W-3. And if you use a service for it, they both do both of these forms at the same time and sends them to the IRS. And then you're allowed to print out a copy of the W-3, a copy of the W-2 for your records, and you give your child a copy of the W-2 for their records. But usually you're going to be keeping the records anyway.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Mojo said, what if you have been employing your child all year, but you didn't do any of this paperwork beforehand? Will that be a problem?
Start now. You can backdate. They're not going to know that you backdate, but I'm pretty much sure if you get all the documentation in a row now, you'll be fine. Because if you figure if it's $122 a week, they pretty much was working maybe 20 hours a week. So you could just break it down like that, fill in the days, and go back to the beginning of the year. Or if you're going to say it was a blitz, like tax season, you work the first six months of the year, and then I break it down between then, and then maybe in the later months, he's only shredding once a month because I'm not getting enough paper. So I'm breaking it down with that.
Gotcha.
But you could always go back and do the paperwork. You didn't hear that from me, though.
We didn't say go do the paperwork, but if you got paperwork that's backdated, I don't think that'd be a problem. But
yes,
I'm not saying go backdated.
As long as it's not 2, 3, 4 years. If it's this year, because you're learning and you want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row.
Absolutely. So Sylvia says, wait a minute, before Sylvia, we had T. Robinson says, how many kids can I employ and how many hours can they actually work per week?
Okay, so in my case, I only have one because all of my other children are grown. Any child that you have that's between, now there's people who trying to put 2 and 3-year-olds in their business. I use 7 to 17, but you only can use up to 17 because after that they're considered adult. 7 to 17. Whatever child, if you have 10 kids and they between 7 and 17, you can put them all in your business. They all can do something. Somebody can answer phones. Somebody can go back and do inquiries. Somebody can do filing. Somebody can make labels. Someone can put out fill stuff envelopes. There's plenty of jobs for all the kids to be able to do.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody had 10 kids, they lucky because I have all 10 kids working.
And especially if they're teenagers and good with computers, so you got your social media marketers.
Yes, exactly.
And Snapchat, kind of Somebody is in charge of Facebook fan page. One is in charge of Twitter. One is in charge of Instagram. So yeah, absolutely. And so the number of kids doesn't matter, more so age, 7 to 17.
And now for the hours of work, I would literally check the child labor laws in your state. Because you just don't want to be saying you have a 7-year-old working 40 hours a week while they also going to school, because that might be an issue. So I would check, like, what are the child labor laws in your state? Because they have to have them because, you know, they let kids work as teenagers. So they have to have some type of guideline of how many hours of work they can work a week.
Yeah. And then speak on this, Yvette, because some people, your child is 7 years old. You might not have them all the time. You might not be able to just write off the whole 63, but just write off what you can and keep in mind just good common sense. If your child only is with you on weekends, then obviously he can't work in your business 20 hours a week. Well, heck, he's only with you on the weekends. So you might not be able to get the whole $6,300 per year and write off based on age and the amount you're paying them. But let them work, do something. You may only get $2,000 in write off, but that $2,000 is better than zero write offs, right? Yes,
that is exactly correct. So yeah, in that scenario, if you only have your child on the weekend, every other weekend, make it one day. Maybe it's 4 hours a day, 8 hours a week, whatever you decide to pay. But don't try to say now, I have my child working 8 hours over the weekend and I'm paying them $100 an hour. Right. Remember, you have to make sure that the work is reasonable as well as the pay. The pay has to be in line with the job. So like this job description that I got for my son, they actually pay $16.75 an hour. And I made sure to print that and just said, hey, I'm giving him $10 an hour because he's not able to, it was part of the job description where he had to lift and put the stuff into the dumpster. He's not able to do that yet. So I took $6 off an hour for that.
Right. Good deal. Sylvia says, does the child, the age matter? But I think we answered that. If they're 18, they're considered adult, Sylvia. So basically, they are old enough. And I didn't tell you about this earlier, but correct me if I'm wrong, Yvette. So you got an 18-year-old child, Sylvia, but so they don't qualify for this, but you have a home-based business. Well, guess what? That 18-year-old child can start their own lawn care service and they can take care of your yard. You can pay them as a business contractor for taking care of your yard in their own business, still pay them, and you still get to write that off because you can pay for services if you're running a home-based business like yard service and landscaping. Is that correct, Yvette?
That is correct. And now let's take it to a point where if you're in an office, now my son is going to be the receptionist at my job. Now, although he's going to be my employee, but you can also have your 18-year-old work and you just pay them like a regular employee. But if you, let's go back to the home-based business. If you have your child start their own, say they do window washing or they do a house cleaning business and you had them clean the area of your office as part of your home-based business, you can still have that as a business write-off.
Right.
Even though it's your own child.
Right. So it's just like if you had a big office building, you would hire someone to come in at night to clean it. Well, this would be the same thing, but your child starts their own business. You take them through the protocol of setting up their business so that you can pay them correctly, and you hire them as a contract cleaner to come clean in your office space. I love that. This good stuff. Robert says $6,300 per year per business. So if I have two LLCs, then is it 12,600? And no, standard deduction is $6,300 per person.
Okay, y'all keep leaving out the $50. It's $6,350. Y'all keep leaving that little 50 off. Throw it in there.
Right. But because the standard deduction is $6,350, if you pay them $6,350 in two businesses, anything over $6,350, he's going to have to file a tax return. That
is correct. But let me tell you, there's a way to get around that too. Now, if you had now I would not do this in two businesses. I would actually do it under one. Now, you can increase the amount that you pay your child to $11,850 for 2017. But $5,500 must go into an IRA. So that way you can still take and pay them as compensation, have that $11,850 as a write-off, as compensation, wages paid to your employee. But you're now putting a vehicle in place to put money away from them for when they retire, and you're giving them money in the business.
Wow. Now that's powerful. That's powerful. It's one thing to take your children. And the reason that I love this strategy so much, because when you're paying your children, especially when they're small, it introduces you as the parent to be able to start talking financial concepts, financial strategies, tithing, giving, savings, investing. You start the process of teaching them financial literacy at a young age. But now as a company, I can hire my kid, pay them the full $6,350, pay them an additional $5,000 that goes into a retirement vehicle or instrument for them, and I still get to write off the whole $11,050. $11,500.
$11,850. That's the max. Yes.
Right.
But
cool. I love it.
And I also want to put in, okay, so every year for my tax clients, I always put out a challenge. So in line with what Ivy Stokes is want to do for my econ for the game, for our conference, I'm also telling my clients to do the same thing. I want them to buy one stock for their child, not them, for their child. So again, because we're trying to build future Black billionaires, I want them to get into the concept that anything that they consume, wear, go to, visit, or eat, they should own a part of it. So with my son, I started it last year. He wanted this iPad. He asked me for an iPad for 2 years. Last year, I gave him an iPad and a Apple stock. This year, he's going to go to Disney World for his birthday. I'm going to give him a Disney stock because I want him to get into the concept of knowing everything that I put my hand on, I need to have a piece of that.
Can own that. Absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. Brandon says, can you use this same system for other relatives or family members that's not your children?
No, for your children. That's the key. It has to be your child. It could be a stepchild. It could be an adopted child, but someone who is considered your child, not a cousin.
Right. And you can pay wages to somebody else, but there's a different process for that.
Yes. If you did it for someone else, it's basically like you're paying them wages as a regular employee.
Or what about contracting if they just contracted that person who has their own business?
Are we talking about just children? I wouldn't, not a 1099. You never want to give any child a 1099 because one thing about 1099s, it triggers that you have to file a tax return and pay taxes.
Gotcha.
And I had a couple of business owners get in trouble with that. They got some bad advice and they wrote off the 6,300 last year, but they gave 1099s to their kids.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So no kids 1099, but if you're talking about other family members who are adults and you don't want to do unemployment tax and that kind of stuff to pay them in your business, then you can 1099 them, but not if they're kids. Good stuff, Yvette. Appreciate that. Let's see. We got a couple more questions, and then we're going to get to some special offers that we have for you guys as well. Also, does it matter if that older child is working somewhere else too? Oh, this is a good one. So the older child has another job, but you also want to pay them in your business as well. How does that work?
So again, for you, $6,350 would be deductible as wages in your business. But if they made more than that and you did not put it into an IRA, then they're going to have to pay taxes on that money. So what you could probably do is say, okay, for me, you're going to be exempt. But for the job that they're working on the outside, they can file their W-4 and just put like single and zero to offset any wages.
Gotcha. So yeah, it's still standard deduction. It's still $6,350. Don't matter where the income comes from. If they work for you, if they work for 10 other people, they make $6,350 and 1 cent. Now they don't have to file a return because they made over standard deduction. Right? Good stuff. Says thank you. I would definitely be hiring my 14-year-old and 15-year-old sons. Good. That's what I want to hear. Says does the child have to be a dependent on your tax return? Like, can the dad write off the child wages even if he doesn't claim him as a dependent on his return? Good question. Did you get that?
I'm going to get back to you on that one because some people say yes and some people say no, and the IRS says yes and the IRS says no.
Whoa.
Yes.
All right. So we'll answer that one offline. That was from Mojo.
Yes.
So we'll deal with that one offline. And if you guys got some questions, if you guys are interested in that answer, let me know and we'll make a way to get that answered. It says, and the IRA is tax deferred, right? Now you get into something else, but yes, it is tax deferred. And then T. Robinson says, will the webinar be available later on YouTube? Not on YouTube, but you'll get an email tomorrow at about 9 a.m. that says you can watch the replay. It says, a nephew who I am the legal guardian of should be considered the same as my child, correct?
Yes.
Yes, because you're a legal guardian.
Yes, you are the legal guardian, and you have paperwork that substantiates that.
Yep. And then last question, are you paying your shredder specialist via check to track the salary paid out? Always, right? Record keeping?
I actually utilize a payroll service.
Right.
Only because I don't want to fill out the W-4 and give the W-2. And because I also like third-party verification. So basically, I use a service, and it only costs me like $6. Is $34 a month, which is a tax write-off.
Right.
So I only have that one employee that's going through that service. So it's $29 per employee plus $6 for them to do the direct deposit. And he has his own little account, savings account, where the money goes to, and he's fine. Good.
But let's talk about if they don't have or don't elect to use a service, they do need to check for paper trail, right?
Yes. And the funds should come from your business account.
Yes. Business account. All right. Good deal. So Yvette, let's talk about the special offers that you want to provide for them today.
Okay. So for being on this call tonight, we already talked about the giveaways. I'm going to make sure that I package that up. So you will be able to get that tomorrow when the replay is released, so you can have the forms, because maybe you'll be able to have the forms with you while you're watching the replay. But I'm going to also be offering business credit training. It's going to be a 2-day course on Friday and Saturday, December 1st and 2nd, 2017. It's going to be 2 hours each class for a total of 4 hours in business credit training. So just to give a breakdown, because 2 hours is a long time, but the first class, I'm definitely going to review the benefits of becoming an LLC and the LLC operating agreement, because I just think that's important to have in case anyone asks you for documentation, you have it. And then, yes, and then we're going to set up the business in Dun & Bradstreet and gets the DUN number. So that'll be the very first class, because the LLC agreement is customized per person that's in the group. And since it'll be a group of people, I may ask you will have homework. So I'm going to be giving you the operating agreement. I'm going to be telling you to send it back to me so I can see it and review it before we go to the next class on Saturday. And then we're going to set up the business in Dun & Bradstreet, fill out your profile, and then get your DUNS number. So the second class, we're going to set up 3 starter accounts for business credit. Now, this is going to be set up underneath your EIN number, employee identification number, or AKA tax ID. We're going to set up 3 starter accounts. And then what I'm going to do is just go over the process of how you're going to build business credit, because most people want to try to go out and get business credit cards, and you may not be eligible for them, because if the credit card says you need to have 5 active accounts, but you only got 3, they're going to deny you. And then we're going to talk about how you can actually, in the state of Georgia, get a free business account. And this bank also allows you to use secure funds to get business loans. So we're going to talk about that as well. So that way you can have business loans underneath your EIN number, tax ID number, and then multiply that to quote Crank Lucas video to 1 million. Oh, I love that video. The video was awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay, so of course everybody gonna want to know how much this costs.
Yes.
So there is a very special for anyone that's on this call that's in my econ, that's part of Monetize My Life Academy, or is my client.
Cool.
If you want to know what that special price is, what we're going to do, we're going to tell them the price, or you're going to tell them to inbox us and we'll tell them the price.
Yeah, if you guys are already connected to us in some sort of way, you're already on one of our teams or something like that, connected, just inbox us. We'll get you the special price for that, and then the special PayPal link for that. Just go ahead with the those who may be on the call, maybe not have a business, or maybe just not connected with us and getting this kind of information. If they partner with you in my econ tonight for $35 to start and $35 per month, you're going to allow them in this class for $62. Is that correct?
That is correct. So that is for brand new members of my econ. Whether you reach out to me or any member on my team and you join before the 27th, brand new, you can get this class for $62. Now, then I have early registration. I'm cutting the early registration off on Monday, November 27th at 11:59 p.m. That is the end of what we call Cyber Monday. And then the class will be $97 for early registration. And then if we have anyone that's after that date, the class will be $147. So that's just to basically motivate you to register early.
Gotcha. So let's just recap, guys. If you have not already partnered with us in some sort of way, you join my econ before the class November 27th, then you will be able to get the special class price of $62. And of course, we can verify if you have joined my econ. If you're already a part of my econ, Monetize My Life Academy, or connected as one of Yvette's clients already, then you get the special discount price. Early bird registration for those who don't want any part of my econ. You already have your own business. You just want to get set up in the business credit class. Then it's just $97 for you one time before November 27th, and you get in the class for the first and the second. After November 27th, it's going to cost you $147 to get in the class. You might as well get in now so that you can save you $50. But I want to talk about this really quickly, Yvette, because sometimes people don't really realize the importance of setting up business credit now, even if they're not kind of in position to really want to start using business credit. Talk about how you were able to set up business credit using these strategies a whole year and something before you even open your store.
Yes. Now, and this is going now, I have had business credit since 2005. So it's been a long time. And it was before when they wanted all type of documentation for you to get business credit. But this is exactly what I did. I got my LLC. I got it set up. I already had an office that I was doing taxes out of, but I used that address as my business address, even though it was seasonal. I took my tax ID and I applied for starter accounts. So what I did was I kind of did some preliminary research. I looked at different companies that I figured would be ones that were more pliable to give me credit, even though I was brand new having credit. Mm-hmm. So I went and applied for these accounts, and then I started ordering and paying early. Now, later on, I found out that I didn't know what my Dun & Bradstreet number was, but this stuff was being reported to them. And then from Dun & Bradstreet, you get what is called a paydex score. And you want to have your paydex score to be 80 or higher. And what I found out by the fact that I was ordering office supplies and paying it early, I was actually getting a leg up, because Dun & Bradstreet likes when you pay your vendors early, because again, 50% of business credit is how you pay. That's all they really care about, is how you paying the vendors who are giving you credit. Mm-hmm. So after I did that for a couple of years, I found out about, because in my personal credit, I was working on personal credit, and I found out I could get a secured personal loan. I went to the bank and I said, well, can I do the same thing for my business? Could I give you some money and get a secured business loan under my EIN number? And they said yes. So I gave them $5,000, took money out of my savings, put it into my business, and just left it there. Took the funds out, and was really the payments I was making was actually their money. I was just giving it back to them.
With the same money.
Yeah. Giving them the same money back. Then once I paid it back and they took the secure part off. Then I had a regular loan. So then I took that money and said, okay, I'm gonna take and do it again and ask for 10,000. Now I had a 10,000 unsecured loan, and I just started doing it again, and I just doubled up. And I try to do this like every 2 years, where I just started steadily building the credit. Where like now I have like an open line, and it's almost like 100,000.
Wow.
And I just kept doing it every 2 years. I just kept paying the money back. Even if I used them, I just kept paying the money back, because all you're doing is circulating the money back to them that they gave you. That's the key. You have to give them back the same money that they gave you. Don't spend it. Just keep circulating it back to them. Because what you're doing is showing that you are able to handle money and pay it on time.
So guys, click on the link if you are going to sign up in my econ. Click on the offer that's to the right of the screen and just bookmark that page, because I'm going to take this offer down and put the other offer up. So just click on that link now and bookmark that page. This is for those who are going to join Yvette in my econ. You get the special discount on the class. You get the my econ for $34.95. Then you get the class for $62. And then I'm going to take that one off. And then I'm also going to show you, here is the link that you need to click on if you don't want the my econ business, but you want to use a business that you currently have. And just go ahead and register for the class for $97. This is the link. Go ahead and hit this link. And then basically what you'll do is just bookmark that page so you don't be distracted from the webinar tonight. So there's a $97 and the first one was a $62 in lieu of you joining the My Econ team. So Yvette, that was flat out amazing. I learned something new, as I do every time you start talking. So that's good stuff. And I think we've answered everybody's question. Now it's a matter of what do you guys want to do? You can literally start to become a partner with Yvette in My Econ. That's your own financial success membership. And she will teach you all the other stuff about building wealth, not just paying your children, but there's a lot of other stuff that we do. There's personal credit through the smart money system that comes with that $34.95. There is identity theft protection. There is a free and discount legal service. There's a bunch of other stuff that comes along with the $34.95 as well as your own business. Some of you guys may be saying, I want to pay my kids, but I really don't have a business. Well, partner with Yvette and My Econ, and you have a business. Now you have a reason to pay your kids, right? So that's what that thing is all about. Super pleased that you were able to give us some of your time. We are right at 9 o'clock. We'll do one or two more questions. If anybody got a question that they did not answer or ask or get answered or asked, let's do that real quick. Let's see. Rob says, thank you. I did get my homework done. All right, good deal. Good deal. Anybody else? And then we'll do one or two more questions and then we'll close out. I want to honor your time, but I also want to give you your 4 hours since we started a little bit late. And you can't see me on camera, man. I don't know what happened. My computer today went through about 75 minutes of updates today. And when I try to access my camera, it just wasn't. So anybody else, any questions before we get out? All right, I think you did a wonderful job, and I think you've answered everybody's question. So again, if you want to see this again, you will get an email notification of the replay. It says you did an update without the text.
Yeah, see, yeah, that might not be a good job.
Yeah, yes, you are. Great to appreciate that. One last question. Go ahead, Myra. One last question. Mm-hmm. We got a minute. We'll give her a second to type that in. But My Econ is flat out awesome, guys. So if you want to partner with Yvette or anybody on the team in My Econ, then get the $62 class. All you have to do is let us know who your upline is. We'll then see the date that you joined, and then get you the discount based on whether you joined at the right time. You just have to update the drivers. Okay. So she's talking to me about the drivers for my camera.
No, but Myra said, did you say that after we take the class, we would finish with business accounts? Yes, you're going to have 3 starter accounts. 3.
Yes.
And a hookup to take and get business funding through a bank.
Yeah.
That I'm partnered with for the class.
Good stuff. So yes, you have 3 open trade lines under your business name. And then she's going to train you on how to get other trade lines when you're ready for that, and then how to get the hookup at the bank.
And then for Myra, because she already has a DUNS number, we're going to go through the profile. So then that'll give her a chance to look at her profile and make sure that the information that they have that's connected to the DUNS number that she has is correct. And all of this stuff is free. So a lot of times Dun & Bradstreet try to get you to pay for things, but everything that we're going to be doing in the class is going to be free.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Yes, I have it, but I don't. Yeah, she may need some help going through her profile. And there's some tricks to your profile to make it hit a little bit better, make it pop. Good deal. So with that, guys, I'm going to release Miss Yvette because I'm Central Time. It's just 9 o'clock here. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming out. Hopefully you guys learned something. I know I certainly did. Again, as I always do when Yvette starts to see, she says, I'm already with my econ, so how do I register for the class again? If you're already a my econer, then we actually have a special price for you. Inbox me and I will get you the special price and the link so that you can purchase that class. Cool. So everybody who's in my econ, inbox me, who's your upline. And once we verify that, we will shoot you over the special link. Sylvia, is it related to business finances? Oh, that's you asking, Sylvia. All right. So, I mean, you can stay on and keep messaging people if you want.
No, I was answering the question because it was the only one that's left.
All right. What does it does not specific to the banking?
That was the answer to Sylvia's question. That is basically for business finance, and they like to have sometimes when a business is requesting information from you, they may ask, what is your Dun & Bradstreet number? Because again, those reports are open to the public. So they can find out what you're doing and how you're paying. Mostly for Dun & Bradstreet, they want to know how are you paying your other creditors.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, I appreciate you, Yvette, so much. We'll make this available for the replay, and those who missed it, they will get an email notification tomorrow that it's available for replay. So I am H. Cortez. She is Yvette the Best, the People's Tax Accountant. Hashtag tax deductible lifestyle. It is official. So I don't have Cortez info. So can I inbox Yvette or I'm Cortez Springer on Facebook. So if you want to inbox me, or you can inbox Yvette as well for the special price. All right. So until we talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve it. Peace out, y'all.